Evening. Call to order meeting of the school committee of March 23rd, 2026 at 7 p.m. This meeting is taking place in person at Collins Middle School in the school committee chambers and also on Zoom via the link posted in the meeting agenda. We're going to start today's meeting with special recognition of our high school boys basketball team. State champions. Before we proceed to some recognitions, I want to open it up to any members of the committee that might want to offer any remarks. Member Cornell.
Love to make remarks. Thank you all for coming. That's pretty great. And you all wore your matching sweatsuits, which we all love. They're a big hit. I went to almost all your games this year, and you are all obviously very talented athletes and really skilled players. And so, but you already know that you have the trophies and the whole thing. So, but the thing that sort of has stood out to me every single time I've gone to a game is that no matter who I'm talking to, everybody wants to tell me what great kids you are. Everybody. So, you know, you're great classmates, you're great role models, you're great students, and ultimately that is the most important thing. Someday, hopefully not too soon, competitive basketball will end. And what you have left is the resilience and the integrity that taught you. So I also played in a couple of basketball state championships. Nobody asked for my autographs afterwards, so you're in a whole different thing. But something that was, I think, lost on me during both of those state championships was the effect that a championship run has on the community that you live in. So I took my 76-year-old dad to almost every game. Although he did want to know why Coach Doyle wasn't wearing a suit at the state championship game. I was like, I don't think that's good luck. I don't think that's a good idea. But at every single game, there were teachers, city councilors, retired city councilors, former mayors, this mayor, lots of us, former players and alums. The whole community turned out, as you know, because I saw you shake everybody's hand after, Ellie and Nate in particular, after every single game, shaking everybody's hands. And that kind of run, like this kind of championship, it really gives everybody in your community a lot of hope and joy and pride. And I mean, thank God for the NCAA tournament, because I don't even know what I would do with myself now that you guys are all done. So thank you very much for not just, you know, representing Salem really well, but for just giving a lot of joy to the entire community. Thank you.
Any other member of the committee wish to offer anything? Yep. Member Hoffman.
I'm going to say exactly what she said, but I'd like to add, as you go on in your career, never forget the people that are behind you. Someday I hope that you'll all be coaches or keep playing or encourage some small kid down the line to like take that chance. And congratulations, a well done game. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. But y'all, you're great. You're just a great bunch of guys, and thank you for that.
Any other member of the committee? Yeah, seeing none. Dr. Zarek?
As I almost, I'm certainly not as athletic as you. As
sure, jeez.
It's a trip over things. I just want to say you brought tremendous joy to this community over the last few weeks and months, and we couldn't be more proud of all of you. I have, I've had the pleasure of getting to know some of you over the years. Everybody, I was at two schools today, and everybody wants to say, claim you, like witchcraft. Nate, they were talking about you at witchcraft today. He's one of ours. Everybody wants to say Collins or Saltonstall, where people went to school. This community could not be more proud of all of you. And what I respect the most about sort of what Member Cornell said is the fact that after games, I watch so many of you take pictures with little kids. And so many of you took the time to sign autographs, but also these kids all look up to you. And the thing I'm most looking forward to is watching you go to every school in this city with the trophy, because there are so many kids that are going to be, this is bigger than seeing the Patriots, is seeing, no, seriously, because you're one of them, you're a witch, you went to their schools, you belong to this community, And it made me so proud to see, like, there weren't a lot of city high schools in these tournaments, right? There are a lot of private schools, a lot of suburban schools, and there's Salem, Gateway City, winning a state championship, right? That is a special thing that it made all of us incredibly proud. And to Member Cornell's point, you're all upstanding young men. While I wish that some of you would go to the NBA, that's probably not in the cards for at least the majority of you. But the fact is that you're all great people, and you're led by a great coach and a wonderful person who's dedicated his entire life to the Salem Public Schools. And so, Tommy, I want to call you out as well. Tommy, from the day I got here, he was in my ear about different things, basketball floors and all kinds of things. But it's all because he believed in this city, believed in the young people of Salem, and he's dedicated his life to the Salem Public Schools. So we couldn't be more proud of you, Coach, and the dedication. You deserve this championship as much as anybody for I mean, I saw you hauling tables the day before the state championship so you could raise money for the basketball team, and just shows the commitment that you have to this city and to this school system. So I want to thank all of you. I wish we could do more for you than, buy you new cars, whatever it is, right? Like, I don't know, in the NBA, don't they get something for winning state champ? I mean,
I think it's illegal, Steve.
and it's illegal, probably. But we look forward to the parade, and we look forward to having you visit each of our schools. So congratulations to all of you.
So we have city seals in recognition and celebration of your achievement. I'll read the text. It's the same on each of them, but in celebration of the remarkable achievements of the 2025-26 boys basketball team, whose dedication, perseverance, and excellence led to a historic state championship victory, ending a 31-year championship drought. Throughout their incredible season, the Witches exemplified the very best of Salem: resilience, teamwork, discipline, and unwavering pride in their community. The Salem Witches boys basketball team concluded their season with an outstanding record, demonstrating both athletic excellence and sportsmanship at the highest level. On behalf of the City of Salem, I extend my sincere congratulations and deepest appreciation for bringing pride and distinction to our community.
Hey, Coach Doyle, why does that loss from Florida still count against your record? I mean,
We technically lost, so it's...
oh, so it counts even if it's in another state?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you all for being here. Thank you for representing and recognizing our boys basketball program. For all those that do not know me, my name is Riley Christie. I'm the athletic director. And it's been such a privilege and honor to see these young men grow and how hard they worked. A lot of things up here that were already said, I want to echo. It's extremely, proud to have that all of y'all represent what it means to be a witch and what it means to be a part of the Salem High basketball history. For those that do not know, in 1926, the very first ever state championship was won in the state of Massachusetts for boys basketball. That state championship was won by Salem. And 100 years later, these young men went 24-2 and had an unbelievable season and finished as one of the top, and I say the best team in the entire state. And that is a credit to all of you guys. And it's also a credit to our amazing coaching staff. Coach Doyle, Coach Chico, Coach Sill, Coach, Jack, Coach Ethan, Coach Alex. Our coaches are so unbelievable and have had such unwavering faith in this program and in these kids. I mean, these kids got up at 5 a.m. to get into the gym. These kids were working. Last year, 2 days after they lost in the playoffs, they were back in the gym, working out, getting up shots, and they knew that was not going to be their lasting legacy. They were not going to be out in the second round again. They were going to make a run. And no matter what happened this season, we were going to be extremely proud of these young men, and they just kept saying, 5 more, then 4 more, then 3 more, then 2 more, then 1 more, and then we did it. So, gentlemen, congratulations. So extremely proud. You guys represent what it means to be a witch every single day. on the court, in the classroom, and in the community. So congratulations, and we are so proud of you all. So as Mayor Pangalo said, we have some recognition. So I'm going to call each of you all up, and you're going to grab this, and then going to sit back down. Then we're going to take a team picture. So first up, it's freshman Jovial Justabeat.
All right, I love it. I love it.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, buddy. Next, we have freshman LJ Gonzalez.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations. Congrats. Hi, LJ. Congratulations.
Congrats, buddy. Next, we have junior Jalen Estevez.
Congrats. 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 Congratulations.
Congrats, my guy. Next, we have junior Jake Lister.
Congratulations. Congrats. Congratulations.
Thank you. Next, we have freshman Desmond Adorsi.
Blues, like, what are we doing? Congratulations. Congrats. Congrats. Congratulations.
Thanks, Des. Next, we have freshman Jam, Jamison Hanson Armstrong.
Taking notes, Steve.
It's all right.
It's bound to happen.
We're retiring this afternoon.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Let's not set.
Next, we have senior Chris Hansen.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Chris. Congratulations. Congrats, Chris. Congratulations.
Next, we have senior captain Darren Taku.
Congrats. Congratulations. Congratulations. Congrats. Congratulations.
Next, we have sophomore Sean Murphy.
Congrats.
Sean.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congrats. Congrats. Congratulations.
Great job, buddy. Next, we have freshman Cleto Dang.
Congratulations. Congrats.
Congrats, Cleto.
Great season. Congratulations. Congrats. Congratulations.
Congrats, Cleto. Next, we have junior Matt Kenny.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Big free throws. Big free throws. Thank you.
Great game.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you. Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
you're good. Congratulations.
Great job, Matt.
Thank you.
Next, we have senior Cesar Mesa Castillo.
Great save.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Congrats.
I don't know if you're a better chef or a better basketball.
Good steal.
He's a great columnist.
Congrats. Congratulations.
I feel like we need to move these down. Move these down.
That's right.
Yeah.
Next, we have junior captain Elion Rodriguez.
Thank you.
Great season.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
One more, back to back. And then we have senior captain Nathaniel Lane.
Congrats. Congratulations.
And now we would like to recognize our coaches and our assistant coaching staff. First up, we have Salem alum Jack Doyle.
Congrats. Congrats.
Great season. Congratulations.
Congrats. Congratulations.
Next, we have assistant coach Steve Chico.
Congrats. Congrats.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, Steve. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Congrats, Chico.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Next, we have assistant coach Anthony Silvio.
Congrats. Congrats. Congratulations.
Next, we have assistant coach Salem High alum Ethan Doyle.
It's a little dog love.
Good to see you.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
All the kids are like, I want to pet the dog.
Congratulations.
You can still pet the dog. There's time. Yeah.
And our head coach Tom Doyle.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Riley, so I have, Coach, before you sit down, Coach. So we, this is 2026 is Salem's 400th birthday, and we have created these 100 of these coins that we are giving out to individuals in our community who represent the best of Salem. And this is the 4th coin that we've given out, and I'd like you to have it. Does he want to say anything?
Coach, do you want to say anything?
You don't have to.
I know everyone said it, but it was amazing to see the community come out and, everybody come out for this. And it's easy to get behind boys that are doing the right thing in and out of the classroom and on the court. And so to see everyone come out and support, and so many good things happen this year for this program. And, from the new floor starting us off, these guys working in the off season, and it's just so many great things happen. Undefeated on that new floor, by the way. And the support from everyone, from staff to everyone on down. It was amazing to see. And the support from being at games, from being behind the scenes making decisions, to our administration at the high school, to the teachers, to just everyone rallied together, was why I love being from Salem. I've been born and bred here. I went to school at Salem State. I think the only time I leave Salem is to go to away games, and I just love it here, and I thank you for the recognition I received tonight, which certainly, these kids helped me achieve, and this is why I love what I do. And the city of Salem's where I've always been and love to be, and glad, to be a part of this. So thank you all for the part we all played together as a city in achieving this goal, and thanks again. Hopefully we can get back here again soon.
We're going to do a photo. Yeah. Did you want to say something? Do you want Manny? Do you want to say anything?
No.
Former school committee member.
Thank you. There's life after school committee. And no, in all seriousness, good evening, folks. It's good to be with you all. I want to congratulate the boys on the well-deserved championship. When we did the ribbon cutting for the floor, I gave y'all one mission, which is new floor would look real great with a brand new banner, and you delivered. The way that you inspired the entire city, and I have a 4- and a 2-year-old, we would watch the games at home. They love y'all. They really do. You're role models, and we all look up to you for many different reasons. But it is the resilience that you showed on and off the court. And in particular, I want to give a special shout out to Elian, because I've been seeing you play since P2P, and the way that you've grown has been incredible. And the way that you led by example on the court, I think, inspired your teammates in many different ways. So I look forward to hosting you at the State House once Steve gets his new job. We'll bring them up, and can't wait to see you all here again next year, because we're doing this again, right? Okay. Congratulations.
All right, we'd now like to invite the team and coaches up for a picture.
What are we just going to stand by?
That's the only chance.
Yeah, I think we get done.
We're taller than all of you right now.
I think even with this.
It's going to be hard for us.
Let's get Jake and Cleto on the end.
Stand right in front of me, and I'm covered up. Yes.
So we need to get in the front.
No, I'm okay. Yeah.
This isn't even going to work.
I have to go out in front. Anybody want to left?
It's okay. I'm right in between.
Do you want to switch places? Because then you can be on the end.
All right, we'll come around. Yeah, let's go.
Thank you. I did it on Saturday.
I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah, I did it on Saturday in the middle of the night. Yeah, it was the college stress. I'm just gonna stand process.
Yeah, I remember those days. That is stressful. No, if we're behind Coach Doyle, we're not going. And that's okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
We didn't actually play on the team.
I'm not a big fan of pictures. I don't.
Oh, come on.
Gets in the picture.
Aw.
He should be wearing a witch's outfit.
Thanks, team.
Thank you.
Tell them all they get to go home now.
Is there a motion for recess?
Yeah. Quick recess. Yeah. I'll make a motion to recess for 2 minutes while the team gets to go home.
All right, 2-minute recess. Seconded.
get a second.
All in favor?
Second.
Under discussion. Okay. We're in recess. Returning to our agenda, is there a motion?
I'll move to take the agenda out of order and address number 1 under motions and resolutions.
All right, this is
Second.
seconded under discussion. All in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none. This is the field trip to Costa Rica for the high school students from April 17th to the 25th of the 2027. You have Costa Rica on the agenda.
Oh, it's coming up.
Yeah.
Here.
Oh, sorry. I thought they were reporting on it.
No.
You're the mayor. Sorry.
This is approval for next year's trip.
Got it.
We can hear about Belize if you want.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Heard all.
Would you like to offer, do we have any report on it, or is there any
Yeah, so
questions?
I didn't know, did you want to present anything, Ms. McCarthy, or no? No, I mean, it's okay. We wanted to give you the option. They have a copy of your presentation, but we didn't want you to have to stay for the whole meeting, so. And also, we did want to thank you for the trip to Belize, which no one will ever forget as long as they. But if the school committee has questions, they can ask questions, but you don't have to come up and share because they have the information in their packet.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Member Cornell, seconded by Member Miranda. Under discussion, any questions? I'm sorry?
I would just like to say one thing.
Oh, yeah, Member Cornell.
And just because, as you know, my kid was on that Belize trip, I just want to say publicly that you all were amazing. For anybody who didn't know, the kids got stuck. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world to get stuck in Belize and Miami, but you know, there are teenagers. They didn't expect to be gone that long. It was a difficult transition. And also all the leaders of that trip have their own families at home and children and significant others. So I just, the trip was wonderful. Like for all of us who's, are going to have kids in the high school, I strongly recommend it. The fundraising went really well. It's just an extraordinary opportunity. And the trip leads, you were all just amazing. So excited to vote for kids to be able to take a trip like this again.
Any further comment or questions? Seeing none, on the motion to approve the field trip, all in favor? Any opposed? None opposed. The matter carries unanimous. You're good. Thanks. Returning to our regular agenda. Also under citations and acknowledgements. Superintendent Zreich. So I will allow members to just offer any remarks they might want to. I will just say that we're going to cover most of my thoughts later in the evaluation. And then we'll get through your goal setting for the next 4 days. It is hard to imagine this district being able to achieve what it has without the leadership that you've provided. You have been just a constant source of support for me in my role stepping into this job, but also a constant cheerleader for our schools and our kids. You have put their well-being, their educational excellence as people, as individuals at the forefront of every decision that you've made. Every time you've brought something before this committee, it's always been centered in equity and evidence and thoughtfulness and dialogue. And I appreciate that deeply. As a parent of children in these schools, I appreciate that. As the chair of this committee, I appreciate it. It is hard to imagine this district without you here, but I know that you have laid an incredibly strong foundation for us to build on, and pointing us in the right direction for more successes still to come. I have a city citation for Dr. Zreich.
We need tissues.
The City of Salem proudly honors and recognizes Dr. Stephen Zreich Jr. for his years of service as the superintendent of Salem Public Schools. Dr. Zreich is recognized across Massachusetts as a leader in public education. Dr. Zreich's noteworthy leadership has guided Salem Public Schools through challenging times, including a historic pandemic, and he departs with the distinction of the district being in a far better position than when we started. During his tenure, academic achievement, enrollment, attendance, and engagement have substantially improved, as has educator retention and diversity. Dr. Zreich helped establish new pre-K programs, technical and career opportunities, and advanced coursework and early college pathways, among many other innovations, all centered on equity and educational excellence. Through all his work, Dr. Zarik's North Star has been his unfaltering commitment to Salem students and his steadfast belief and faith in each child to achieve great things. On behalf of the City of Salem and Salem Public Schools, I extend my very best wishes to Dr. Zarik as he moves on to his next chapter. Salem students, families, educators, and the city as a whole owe him a debt of gratitude we can never repay. We are confident that his service to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts is sure to result in improved outcomes for students across our state. Steve.
Thank you.
And also one of those limited edition Salem 400 coins.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Open it up to any other members. Cindy?
I just wanted to say, I guess, and not just for myself, but I guess, as the student representative, thank you for everything that you've done, not just for myself, but for everybody in the district, whether that's the kindergartners, the elementary schoolers, the middle schoolers, the high schoolers. Something about you that I've noticed, at least in the last year that we've worked together, is how much you care about all of us. Whether it's honestly, really every student, you pay attention to everything that we need, to everything that we wish to see in the future, that we wish to get implemented. You listen to the criticisms that any of the students might have. I know you've listened to a lot of the ones I have had, and you have helped fix them, which I'm very thankful for. I appreciate everything you've done for us in the last however many years it is that you have been here. And I just want to wish you the best of luck in your new job, which I know you're going to do amazing in. And I'm just, again, I'm very thankful that you were our superintendent and that you helped better our whole district, whether, just as Mayor Pangalo said, whether it was through the CTE program or the early college program. You are just an overall one of the best members of this district that I have ever met so far, and I'm very thankful to have met you to begin with.
Thank you.
You okay? All right. Member Miranda?
I've already said this to Steve privately, but I will say it publicly as well. There are a few leaders that I've seen lead with the level of integrity and compassion and brilliance that you do. And so over the last, it's almost been 3 years for me that I've served on the school committee. But even as a parent in the district, I've never seen a leader like you, and it's going to be big shoes to fill. And also excited for all of our kids in the state of Massachusetts, and excited for you and this role that you're going to grow into. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Member Stott?
Thank you. I would also like to extend my gratitude and thank you, mostly as a parent. I watched the show in 2020 when you started. It was quite a show, and appreciate all of the work and effort and empathy that you put into this district and this city. I am grateful that we get to keep you in the sense that you are staying in the state, and we know you're going to do great things. But definitely want to extend my gratitude, my family's gratitude, the city's gratitude towards everything that you have done for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Member Hoffman?
I just want to say thank you. You've done so much for the school community that was so broken before you got here, and you've given us all hope, and you've inspired us. You've inspired my son, and who is always thrilled to see Dr. Z in the hallway. One of your best qualities is you're the best listener I've ever met, aside from myself. And we are so grateful to have had you lead us and now to lead the state, and I would just hope that keep listening. I've never seen a champion so many different types of people in my life, and it's heartfelt, and my phone's always there if you need a call. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Member Cornell? Oh, Member Bias.
You know how I feel about you, Dr. Strike. and I just want to thank you for everything.
Member Cornell?
I'm going to talk a lot when I summarize your evaluation in a couple minutes. But I do want to say, like, I've been a parent in this district for 19 years and straight, and I don't think that my children could have picked out the other superintendents like out of a lineup, and hopefully we won't see you in a lineup. But yeah,
Hopefully not.
you never know. And I won't, unlike your son, my daughter's not necessarily always psyched to see you because it draws attention to her. But I really love like seeing you in a crowd of kids, and they always go, "My guy," because who can say strike, right? I don't know how you say "my guy" in Spanish, but I'm sure they say it too. And also just the absolute bravery of going in and substituting in elementary school. I mean, I don't know how you do it. I read a book in there, and they thought I was 75 years old. So, just like being in touch with kids all the time. And I do hope that you're able to keep doing that in this role, because I know that's the thing that you love the most, even though it seems like the thing you love the most is calling us on the phone all the time. But just as everybody said, thank you so much, and good luck to your family as you engage in this new gig.
We have anyone in the audience who might want to offer remarks?
This is my shortest school committee speech ever.
Steve.
Pardon me? Good evening, everybody. I want to take a moment to thank Steve for his service to our students, our educators, and our community. When you started in Salem at the height of COVID, we spent an awful lot of time on the phone and in Zoom meetings, because the phone call is not specific to anybody in particular. During one of those conversations, we had each shared our goals for our time here in Salem. And believe it or not, we both had very similar goals. We wanted to leave this district in a far better place than we found it. I am confident in stating that I believe you met that goal and surpassed it. While we did not always see eye to eye, we figured out a way to compromise and move the district forward. There were a lot of hard conversations that took place, with both of us always wanting to get the last word in, but I believe we landed in a place of respect. I'm positive that we're going to see the same energy and drive as we watch you embrace this new role as Secretary of Education. I appreciate everything you've done in Salem, and I hope you use Salem as a model for other districts in the Commonwealth that have struggled in the past and want to do better. I'm sure our paths are going to cross again in the future as we both continue to strive towards the best educational experience for kids. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann.
Representative Cruz.
Good evening, members of the school committee. Shirley. Superintendent Zweig. I too bring greetings from Beacon Hill, and I first and foremost want to say, Steve, we met 6 years ago here in Salem when we were interviewing you for this position, and it was at a time in which this district was in a place of transition. We needed someone who could come in and heal, repair trust, communicate, but first and foremost, put our kids and their needs first. And you did that from day one. And I want to talk about the importance of, everyone keeps talking about these mysterious phone calls from Steve. I'll tell you, Steve, you came in from a really difficult situation in receivership. And to come to a community like Salem, you embraced every bit of what it means to be a Salemite. You were at every game, every performance, spending time with our littlest learners, our seniors. You were advocating on Beacon Hill, in Washington, and you just built so many relationships in this district. You're the only person that I call more than my wife. We spend an inordinate amount of time just talking about what's going on in public education, what our students need. And the best calls I get from you are when we talk about the kids. And you visit Ivy's classroom and you tell me how much she has grown. She can no longer be distracted by the superintendent, which I didn't know a superintendent was allowed to distract a preschooler until I got that report back from you, Steve. But seeing you in action over the last 6 years, both as a superintendent, And then as a statewide leader on the Educator Diversity Coalition, it's just been an incredible honor. I've learned from you as much as I hope that you have learned from me. And what I'll tell you as you ascend to your new position on Beacon Hill is that you don't go up there alone. You go up there with a friend who will fight to protect you, to make sure you're taking your vacation and spending time with that beautiful family of yours. And know that when the days get hard on the Hill, trust me, I've been there, you'll always have a friend that you can lean on to give you good advice. And if you want to just have lunch, we can do that too. But I hope we can find some time for a Celtics game after the Hill. I think you and I are overdue for just some good old-fashioned bonding and not trying to solve the world's problems. And I'm coming today from a Ways and Means hearing in Lawrence where the topic was education and local aid. You can't believe this, Steve, but there's 351 cities and towns that the formula is not working for. So
Haven't heard that yet.
you and I have our work cut out for us, but there's truly no better person for this job. Because I believe that the same magic that you brought to this job and this role is one that you can bring to the Commonwealth, that you can inspire our students, our educators, and our communities to believe that we can do more. That is going to be your defining legacy here, that you believed in a culture of excellence for all of our students. Not for some of our students, for all of our students. And I couldn't be more proud of your service. And tonight I'm not submitting an evaluation. I've retired from the school committee. But I did bring with me one gift from the Hill for you. I prepared a citation. And I know that the senator would also send her regards, but we're planning on welcoming you up there on Beacon Hill. So don't you worry. You'll hear from her too. And it reads, "The Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the House of Representatives, be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to Dr. Stephen Reich in recognition of his distinguished service as the Superintendent of the Salem Public Schools upon the occasion of being appointed as the Secretary of Education. Throughout his tenure, Dr. Reich demonstrated exceptional leadership and a strong commitment to student achievement, educational equity, and community partnership, leaving a lasting impact on the Salem community. Our entire membership extends its very best wishes and expresses the hope for future good fortune and continued success in all of your endeavors. Given this day on March 23rd, 4th, here in Salem, it's signed by the Speaker of the House, and it's offered by me, your friend, Manny Cruz. Congratulations, Steve. This is the part where I still see for a photo. It's not. It's
I might photobomb your photo here.
Squeeze in. Can I actually get it with all the school committee members? Can I do it that way? I don't want to be by myself.
I know.
I'm not wearing dress socks. Yeah, fine.
She's only on this. Like, put it together at all.
Is that what happens?
Like, the dog's gonna be in it.
There's glue. All right, Steve, one more request. I don't think we've ever done this. Can y'all just turn around for 1 second? I've never taken a selfie with Steve in all my years. Y'all can just squeeze in there.
Have you ever seen Steve do a selfie?
Not good.
It's not good.
Bad game.
I love it. Congratulations, my friend.
First time.
Do you want to do it?
Yeah.
here?
As we, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Member Cornell.
As we do with everyone who is outgoing, we have some gifts. And it's not a Salem sweatshirt, because I know you have a lot of Salem swag. But they are, one gift is from one of our students who has her own shop, Georgia Wren. And another is from a parent, Matt Smith, who also has a shop in Salem. And so they're just little Salem gifts for you.
Should I open it? Or?
You may.
Okay.
Yeah, particularly since one of them is our student. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Very nice.
This is from our parents' shop, Matt Smith, and
Beautiful. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. Love that. Thank you very much. And it says Salem, Massachusetts on it. Perfect. Of course, the red tissue paper. Oh, this is great.
Swear that you're swearing.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you very much. There's one more thing here, I guess.
you have to get $50.
Oh, here we go. I love it. Thank you very much. Perfect for Salem. Thank you.
All right,
Do I have to say something? Or?
if you'd like to.
Yeah, I do. I would like to say something. So, yeah, I just try to keep it together. I don't like the attention. Many of you know that. I hate this. That's why I brought the basketball team here tonight on purpose, because they deserve the attention. I just a couple things. I'd like to just thank the school committee. I took this job 2 weeks before, or 3 weeks before the world shut down. Well, I signed my contract 1 week before, right? I remember thinking, I don't know what I just did, but it was really the best decision I could have ever made. And I want to thank the school committee and those that were on then and have been on since, who have supported me throughout. And it's not, people don't realize that not every school committee operates like this one. This school committee consistently puts children before personal agendas. And they've been very committed. All of you who are here now and those that have come before have shared values and priorities, even when it was really difficult to do so. And that, I've never been a part of a school district like that before. And I don't think you realize how special it is to have governance like this one here. And those of us who have worked in other places know it's not like this everywhere. And that's what makes this really hard. And so I'm proud of our collective efforts to make our schools a better place. I know we didn't accomplish everything we set out to achieve, but you never do. But I want to thank you all for selecting me, supporting me, and always holding a high bar for our children now and for the future. I do want to also thank our staff. I want to thank Ann Berman, Monique Osgood, Tracy Kapantis, the leaders of our union. But we have an amazing staff in the Salem Public Schools. And again, it's not like this everywhere. They're equity-driven. They care about kids. And over the last 6 years, they've taught me a lot, or all of you have taught me a lot about what schools can be for kids, especially districts that serve high-need students. There is a belief here that all kids can thrive. And there are adults in our schools, 99.9% of them, who hold a deep, unwavering belief that every child can be successful. There's only a really small number. And through COVID, when the world challenged our values each day, and there have been consistent threats to public education, our staff remained steadfast in their commitment to our mission, vision, and values. And that commitment made the work feel more possible, more rewarding, and more impactful. This is a lonely job, being a superintendent, and I wrote this in my message to staff over the weekend. But it's much easier when you're surrounded by selfless people who really dedicate themselves to serving others. And I'm grateful that you gave me a chance. I'm not from Salem. I'm not Tommy Doyle. I wasn't born and raised. But people gave me a chance, and they embraced working together to do whatever we thought it was right for kids. And that's pretty special. Again, it's not like this everywhere. Folks need to know that. And the partnership with our unions is, I have to say, as much as Ann and I didn't agree on everything, or Monique and I didn't agree on everything, in the end, I think what we always agreed on is we're going to make the best decisions for kids every day. the agenda was there were not personal agendas. It was always focused on what kids. We may have disagreed exactly how to do it, how to roll it out, how to implement it, but it's much easier when you work with people that share the same values. I think we have outstanding school leaders, and we have teachers who make magic every day. I mean, as much as you give me credit for being in a classroom, I wasn't very good at it. And I think I was okay 25 years ago in a classroom, but teaching is way harder than it was when I started my career. And what our teachers do every day is nothing short of miraculous. And we're all lucky to have the people serving our kids. And just I want to close by saying, the message is I want to send a message to students. And the one thing, I wasn't sure what it was going to be like when I found out that my office was in the 6th grade wing of Collins Middle School. I didn't know, that wasn't advertised in the job description. You might want to make sure that that's not in the job description. But it turned out to be the best thing. I have to say, and Kate can attest to this, there were moments where I'm sorry to all the kids when I came out of my office and I thought I was a teacher or I thought I was the principal of the school. And I realized that, no, they weren't going to listen to me. They didn't know who the guy in the suit was. But it was the best thing to be around kids every single day. And it's the part I'm most worried about leaving, is that I could walk out my door every single day. And yes, the girls' bathroom was on one side and the boys' bathroom was on the other. But I could always have a conversation on the darkest days with kids, and that just turned the day around for me. And so I want to thank the young people of Salem who give me so much hope for a better future. Many people throw shade and speak ill of today's youth. I hear it all the time. They have never met a Salem Public Schools student. They are dynamic, charismatic, kind, civic-minded, humble, creative. Stop there. And brilliant. I promised myself I wasn't going to cry. And they always made me smile, made me laugh, inspired me, and taught me so much about being a better educator, a leader, and a person over the last 6 years. Salem kids can and do hard things every day and are capable of more than they even know and think is possible. And my enduring memory of our students will be during this basketball championship run, when our diverse student body came together in the most innocent, respectful, and spirited way possible, to the envy of every other town and every city we faced. They represented everything that is good, just, and special about Salem, about Massachusetts, and about our country. And so, I'm just grateful to have been part of this community and proud to have been able to serve Salem over the last 6 years. I'm done here.
So motion for another 2-minute recess?
Yes.
I don't cry.
Sorry. We're good?
Thanks a lot.
We did this at the start of the agenda. We should have done this at the end.
Yeah, right.
Huh? Yeah. No. All right, we do have business.
Kate's
Yeah, we've got. Oh, senioritis. All right. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Member Miranda, seconded by Member Cornell. Under discussion, seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? The matter carries unanimously. Public comment. The school committee would like to hear from the public on issues that affect the school district and are within the scope of the committee's responsibilities. Spanish interpretation is available for anyone who needs it. The members of the school committee would like to remind the public that Salem Public School students regularly attend school committee meetings. We encourage all meeting participants to model respectful and productive public discourse for our young learners. Do we have any public comment in the chambers? Seeing none. Is there any public comment on Zoom? Please use the raise hand function. There is not. There's not. The next item is approval of the consent agenda. These are the minutes of the school committee meeting of March 9th, approval of a field trip to Canopy Lake Park for the Bates 5th grade students of June 12th, and approval of the warrants of March 5th and March 12th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Member Cornell, seconded by Member Miranda. Under discussion, seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? The matter carries unanimously. Student representatives report.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Tonight I'm going to keep it a little short. I wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on at Salem High School academically, extracurricular-wise, and obviously, of course, what's going on with the the student advisory. Sorry. In 2025, the statistics for the AP exam scores came out. 66.4% of SHS students who took an AP exam scored a 3 or a higher out of a 5 on at least one exam. In the 25 to 26 school year, about 41% of Salem High School students are enrolled in at least one AP. And more than 88% of juniors and seniors are enrolled in what DESE considers advanced coursework. There is also a very big shift in practice over the last 4 years, with what Mr. Burns has also been saying, considering the amount of difficulty in coursework that students have been picking. Something else that I also noticed was the number of AP courses that are being held at Salem High, which is 27. Which is also the highest number in all of the surrounding schools around us, higher than Peabody, Marblehead, Danvers, Beverly, Bishop Fenwick, and I could keep going. There's a lot of schools. Something else that I really wanted to highlight as well was the Shell podcast that's being hosted by 2 of the coaches at Salem High School. Some of the best student leaders, sports captains, and really just some of the brightest students at the high school are being hosted on the podcast to talk about their experiences in high school and overall in the community and what makes them the students that they are and how special they are, not just to the school, but like I said, to the community and the district. And then moving on to the student advisory, we also hit off the project with the welcoming the incoming students. We did send out the survey. Now we're working to connect some of the to assign mentors and to connect mentors with new incoming students. And we hope for this project to fully be implemented by the start of next year as well. We are also hosting elections very, very soon. That's pretty much it. Sorry, I'm still a little bit emotional after all the doctor's rake goodbyes. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Any questions from committee members for the student representative? No? Superintendent's report.
All right.
You good?
Back to business.
Okay.
I'm a little, my first comments are, if I don't say this, I know I'm going to be in big trouble with Ben Chertok, because he told me I had to say this and he gave me my instructions. Tomorrow night is the all-city concert, which we're very, very excited about. 6:30 is the chorus concert. 7:30 is the jazz concert. It is always a banner affair. And then Thursday at 6:30 is the band concert, and 7:30 is the orchestra concert at Salem High School. So I hope to see folks there, and looking forward to seeing our students perform and share their talents with us tomorrow evening and on Thursday. I also do want to thank all the members of the Innovation Committee that were part of a great event. I guess it was a week and a half ago now, the Design Day, school committee member Miranda is part of the team, and all those that made it. We had teachers there, we had parents, students, and I think in the end we had about 100 people who showed up for Design Day and shared input on the future of the Salem Public Schools and how we can continue to make the school system more innovative, more student-centered, and set the course for the strategic plan that we hope to be able to hand to the next superintendent. Thank you for all those that participated. I want to be quick tonight because it's going to be hard for me to stay composed, but I did want to just if we could start with the school choice recommendations for SY 26-27. I wanted to put this forward a little earlier than usual because I wanted to make sure that the school committee had a chance to review this and hopefully support this before I transition. You have in your packet the school choice recommendation for the upcoming school year. It is very similar, and this is not inter-district choice. This is it's inter-district. Is that the right word? Inter-district? Cross-district choice. So this is choice from outside of Salem into Salem. And every year the school committee is asked to vote you really only have to vote to not participate, but I still bring it forward for the committee to support our practice for the upcoming school year. A couple of changes from this year to next year that I'm recommending that I want to call out is that we are recommending to continue Salem's participation in the inter-district non-resident school choice program with some limitations. We will continue to admit students in grades 9 to 12, which we have at Salem High School only. We do not accept students to New Liberty or to Salem Prep. Salem Prep, you have to have a specialized education plan to enter, and at New Liberty, we want students to enter through Salem High School first and then decide whether New Liberty is the right placement for them. So we'll continue our practice for high school. In K to 5, we will continue to I'm recommending that we continue to admit 10 students per grade, except in kindergarten we were reducing that number to 5 because we are a little worried about enrollment at kindergarten. We have had some tight classes in the last few years, so the discussion amongst the leadership team was to limit it to 5 students for kindergarten, and then although we do not accept school choice for pre-K and preschool programs. We are recommending excluding Sarah Parker Ramond School, given that we are trying to better understand what the enrollment will be, and so I'm recommending that they do not accept students from outside of the district for just next year. That can be revisited a year from now. In talking to the principal at Collins, the recommendation is also to not accept school choice into Collins. We have very tight class sizes at the middle school level. We obviously just welcomed Saltonstall students to the middle school, and we feel like we could use at least another year before revisiting opening school choice at Collins Middle School. And our class sizes are close to capacity, if not at capacity in some places, and so that's behind that decision. The only other change we're making, Assad had to leave, but in consultation with Laura, is that we are going to close school choice earlier this year, in August, at the beginning of August, not September. And the reason behind that is we think that waiting. It's hard for schools to prepare for receiving students late in the process. Obviously, we can't avoid that when there are students who are moving into Salem, but we add more complexity to schools and challenges when we have students enrolling late in the process, or the week before or the week of school starting. So by giving schools at least a month to really know what their class or their student enrollment will look like, it gives them a lot better of a chance to prepare for the upcoming school year. So we're closing. There's still a deadline of June 12th in order to qualify for the priority round of a lottery, and then we will admit, students can admit on a first come, first served basis, or they can apply before August 2nd, and then we will close school choice for the year. And so we had a discussion as a leadership team about that and felt that that would give our schools a better chance to be prepared for the start of the upcoming school year. But the rest of the language is exactly the same as what we've had in the past. We've vetted this with our attorneys, so it complies with Massachusetts general law or Massachusetts laws around school choice. I I will just point out that if you look at the chart on the last page, that even with the middle school not accepting students this year, we had more school choice students enter the Salem Public Schools. And we are at, I think, a 5-year high, at least since we've been, actually, when I first got here, we only accepted choice at the high school level, and then we opened it up. But our numbers, we have 94 total students. Didn't mean we didn't accept 94 students last year. That's a total of 94 students who are with us who are from other communities. And remember, once you accept a student, they have to stay with you through the duration of their time, unless they choose to leave. But we can't ask them to leave. Once you accept them, you own that student for the duration of their time in school. And so we are expected to receive almost $800,000 of non-resident school choice revenue in FY27, which, as you know, goes a long way towards funding our pre-K programming. And that was a decision we made, or the school committee made a few years ago with our budget, as we were trying to sustain our programming beyond our ESSER funding and our COVID funding. And so I'm going to stop there and see if there's any questions from the committee. And I will be asking for a vote tonight to accept this so we can post it for families that may be interested in school choice.
Questions from the committee? Member Stott.
Thank you. Just from my understanding, I'm trying to understand that last statement that you made about we have the student for their extent. Does that include, so middle school, we don't accept new, but does it include them going to the middle school
It
as
does
well?
include them going to middle school.
Okay.
Yes. So if they were accepted as a first grader, they can stay all the way through. And even though we may not be accepting new students in middle school, if they're going to middle school, they automatically have a slot in our middle school.
So each year, this number 94, was that those accepted that year, or the total number
That's
of
the
students
total
in
number
the
of
district?
students.
So when we say 10 per grade, that's 10 total, including the ones that move to the next year? So like if we have a fifth grader moving to 6, there are 10 of them. Does that fill that 10 bucket already?
No, it's 10 new students.
10 new each year.
We don't ever really get to that number, the number every, not every year. There were a couple grades last year, if you look.
Yeah, I just see that now. Yeah.
Like kindergarten, we had 10 last year. But we don't typically get 10 per grade, but we leave room for at least 10 students to come in. We accepted, if you look at the last page, we accepted 41 choice students across all grades last year. Obviously not 6 to 8, but K to 5 and then 9 to 12. We accepted 41, which is the most we've accepted, I think, ever.
Thanks.
Any other questions from committee members on this?
All right, thank you. And we'll ask for a vote on that later on. Next on the agenda, we have, let's see. The merger update. I'm going to turn it over to Deputy Superintendent Carboni, who is going to share an update on the Carlton and Saltonstall merger, soon to be the Sarah Parker Ramon School.
Great. Mark. Okay. Mark's going to put the slides up. Great. So I'm happy to continue to share information about the merger, and I think we're in a really good shape. District-wide, I feel like all aspects of the planning are on track. A lot has happened over the last couple of weeks since we gave a committee an update, so I'm happy to have the opportunity to do that. Where do I point this, Mark?
Yeah, that works.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so this is a slide that the committee has seen before. We always want to ground the updates in the goals that we have for the merger. First and foremost, we aim to elevate student learning by coordinating resources at the merged school. We also see the merger as an opportunity to empower our teachers and our staff, as many of them are playing important roles in the process by participating both on the innovation working group and the transition planning team. In terms of culture, both schools have, I think you all know, tremendous legacies and traditions that we expect to come together in a really meaningful and powerful way through merging the two school communities. And then finally, some important upgrades are planned for the school that are going to help us take steps towards operational excellence at the Sarah Parker Ramon School site. And I'll be talking a bit later about those improvements that we hope to be able to make. There we go. So I'll start with some high-level updates. We have prioritized transparent and timely communication with staff, and to that end, all staff affected by the merger have been verbally notified of their placement or displacement and or likely non-renewal. And Jill Conrad, our Director of Human Resources, is now working with the principals to develop written notifications, which will be issued in April, mid-April, right before the break, so that they'll also have written confirmation. Mark and his IT team have assessed all things related to technology. We've toured both of the Sarah Parker Ramon School and the Carleton to make decisions about technology and the need to move the interactive screens in particular so that all educators who need one will have that to support instruction. And access to the device and the space in which they will be working. So he's working on the classroom assignments or the office assignments with the principals now. He is also working with the librarians to conduct an assessment of the library collections at both Saltonstall and Carleton, and we are planning to invest significantly to upgrade the merged collection and also the furniture at the Saltonstall Library. If you've ever sat in a chair at the Saltonstall Library, you know that that is gravely needed, so we're working on that. From a technical standpoint, steps have been taken to update ADESI about the school merger, the new name for the school, and the address change for both New Liberty and Salem Prep High School. Those are small things, but they matter. So just to assure you that those things have been taking place. And finally, Chris O'Donnell is working on merging the two schools' website. The web pages to be ready for the opening of school. And this is a pretty significant undertaking, so he's focusing on the pages that get the most traffic. He has back-end information about that. So we are planning on that being ready this summer. Oops. Okay. Oh, goodness, I'm not good at this. There we go. All right, the transition team continues to meet, and they are deep into planning events that will facilitate the two school communities coming together. And Ellen Wingard is on that team with Lauren Weaver, the principal at Carleton, is running that, and I believe Member Stott is also on that committee. They are planning a joint field day toward the end of the school year. This will happen at the Saltonstall location, and so we'll bus kids over from Carleton so that the kids can enjoy that together. We're also going to support buses for the Carleton students to be shuttled to Salts for school tours at some point in the spring. This will be an important opportunity for the kids to kind of mix and mingle and get to know each other and to start getting familiar with their new school. And the team is also planning a staff pottery night so that staff can also get to know each other. They may be, just getting acquainted or reacquainted because some of them may have worked together in different schools prior to that. But they're excited to do that as a joint school community. There's a yet to be determined family event that they are hoping to host in May. And then we are also committing to allocating funds in the new school year to support the continued access of the farm school at the Sarah Parker Ramon School. So that's an important thing for the kids and the staff. I did want to offer this slide as a reminder to the committee members about what is involved in building an innovation plan. That's the other team that's meeting, is working on taking the Carleton plan and updating it for the merged school. So step one in the process is to submit a prospectus, which is a brief plan proposal and statement of intent to develop a full plan and a more defined plan. The applicant, who is Principal Jellison, will submit that to a steering committee that is comprised of the superintendent, the union president, and the school committee chair. 2 out of the 3 must approve the plan, the prospectus, for it to move forward. And we expect that she will be doing that tomorrow. So we're in good shape with that. Following that, a committee is to be formed, but the committee has already been formed. We've been meeting with the committee, and they've helped us develop the prospectus. So we'll continue to meet with that committee to develop the full plan. And that team includes faculty and family members from both schools. We have plans to meet throughout the spring as we continue to refine and develop the plan from the prospectus, which is kind of like the seed ideas, but we need to build that out into a full plan. If the plan does end up including autonomies that will change working conditions, those will need to be negotiated with the union and then taken to a vote of the teachers and staff. So more to come on that. And then the last steps are that the plan must be presented to the school committee and then followed by a hearing and a vote taken to approve the plan. So tentatively, we're sort of looking at school committee dates and backward mapping from there. We're hoping to present the plan at the May 26th meeting, and then potentially have a special meeting for the hearing on June 8th before the regular meeting where a vote could be taken, hopefully. So something for you all to think about, but that's what seems to make sense. Oh, come on. There we, oh, see, now you just have to be patient, I guess. Oh, boy. Okay. So the innovation working group on Thursday of last week, information about the emerging innovation plan was shared with families and staff at both schools. And I also forwarded the materials to the committee members so that you had those to look at as well. Principals Jellison and Weaver are hosting 3 coffee hours for families who may have questions or are seeking clarification about the emerging plan. And so those are listed on the slide. There's one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and one scheduled for the evening, and those have been shared with both communities. They are also hosting a joint staff meeting on Wednesday to review the emerging design with teachers and staff, and we'll build in time for questions and discussion. So we're trying to socialize the emerging plan and also get input and feedback. So one of the things that needs to be figured out is what the curriculum for the merged school will be for the coming year. They currently use different materials, so some change in what materials educators will be using is inevitable, but the goal is to minimize the change. So to that end, the team has decided to continue using MyView in English language arts for kindergarten through grade 3, which is what both schools use currently. In grades 4 to 5, the plan is to use Benchmark, which will be a change for the Saltonstall grade 4 and 5 teachers, and not a change for the teachers at Carleton. We'll make sure that they have these materials ahead of time and some opportunities at the retreat that I'll talk about in a little bit to engage with these materials and start to use them to plan for the upcoming school year. For math, the general consensus is that new materials are desired. So a curriculum review team has been formed that includes teachers from both schools, math specialists, the math coach, and other and school leaders from both schools. The team is being convened by Sonia Lowe, our Executive Director of Academics, and they are doing some research on highly rated materials from different vendors, and they plan to select a couple to kind of do a deep dive with before making a selection. So I know there's probably lots of questions about sort of the moving plan, and that there has been a team that's been meeting to draft a week-by-week moving plan that will be shared with the union later this week. The plan will include directions for staff, when the boxes will arrive, and details about the time and compensation the district is putting in place to support our educators with packing and unpacking. I'm not going to say more because we'll want to review that with the union leadership first to make sure that we're on the same page before speaking about it publicly, but the plan is in process and we feel like we're in good shape and ahead of time with that. We talked during this that we don't want the packing to take place until later in the year. We don't want kids learning in spaces where there are, amidst boxes and whatnot. So we're sensitive to pushing that off a little bit toward the end of the year. And unfortunately, we're going to be in school through June, so we've got plenty of time. There is need to do some deep cleaning at Saltonstall to make space for new educators that are going to be moving in, and we are planning to do that over April break. We're likely to need to bring some requests to sunset materials and furniture to the curriculum subcommittee because we have a policy that says we need to do that, unless, of course, it's like damaged and broken, then we'll just get rid of that stuff. But other things we want to bring to the curriculum subcommittee, so I'll be connecting with member Miranda to coordinate that. I want to point out that there are several capital requests that have been put forth that are intended to make improvements to the physical plant. These are contingent on funding of those requests and include a new rug, an upgraded sound system and projector in the auditorium, as well as the hope to do some work on the grounds and landscaping outside, repave the parking lot, and to do some interior painting to spruce up the inside of the building. Again, I just want to make sure everyone understands that those are contingent upon funding, and we're hopeful for that. And then finally, the team, both the principals working together with some members of their staff, are planning a 4-day summer retreat that they feel is really important to bring the staff together, to do some team building activities, to dig deep into the instructional model and plan for early implementation of the new innovation plan, to get familiarized with any new curriculum, and to plan for welcoming students in the fall. So we are in the process of finding the financial resources to support stipends, to pay teachers to participate and attend the summer retreat. And we want to be able to support things like, as I said, stipends, T-shirts, refreshments, and other They want to do a ropes course I think there's a ropes course at Salem State that they want to do as a team building opportunity as well. So we're looking forward to that. And that's the end.
All right. Thank you, Deputy
Happy to answer
Superintendent.
questions.
Yeah, any questions from committee members?
Okay,
All right. Thank you.
easy enough.
We're still in your report.
Okay, moving along, we have a presentation about strengthening belonging in the Salem Public Schools, addressing inequities in discipline practices. This was something that we had discussed, that the school committee wanted to see an update on school discipline and discipline rates across the district, especially as it pertains to our strategic plan of the risk ratio numbers that we've set out for and looking at our students of color, our students with disabilities, our high needs students, and we're going to Ellen's going to present, a comprehensive information to you There may be a need for further discussion at maybe a committee of the whole in the future, but at least this will get the conversation started. I think I'll just say this, while I think we've done a lot of work as a school system in this area, like most school districts, there's still a lot of work to be done, and disparities exist in systems that are inherently, have structural racism, that have structural inequities that exist. While we've seen some improvements, there's also areas that we continue to be stuck around, and I think it's important that we continue to that the committee and the school district continue to look at this data and continue to try to improve so that we do not have the disparities that we've seen historically in school systems everywhere around the country. And so while I'm proud of the efforts of Ellen and her team, our staff, our schools, there is still places where we don't think that students are getting the supports they need to be successful, because discipline is not a student issue; it's a systemic issue, and it's something that we need to continue to improve on as a school system moving forward. But I think it's important that we launch this conversation, and again, I think there's merit to further dialogue around this work. So I'm going to turn it over to Ellen. You have a copy of the presentation in your packets, and there may be some other data you'd like to request that we can share with you in the future.
Thanks, Steve. Yes, I think this is the beginning of a conversation. I think this is a really big topic for 10 slides in 10 minutes, but we're committed to that. So this is the beginning. So to double down on what Steve already mentioned, we're looking to strengthen belonging for all students, and part of that is really looking at some of the inequities that still exist among some of our subgroups. So, we're going to take a deep, honest look at where they exist and think about how we're attempting to dismantle some of those systems. So as you know, we measure belonging in lots of different ways, but one of them is through looking at discipline disparities and the gaps between students of color, students with disabilities, and their non-disabled and white students. And so this is really an extension of the work in our strategic plan around center belonging. We were lofty in setting a goal of reducing our risk ratio to less than 1.2 by the end of our strategic plan, which is this June. We're close. We're going to go over risk ratio in just a bit, but we're not there yet. I think I showed this slide last year when we started to talk about risk ratio, but I want to sort of center the work in our core beliefs about behavior and about what we think exists. You hear us talk a lot about how behavior is a form of communication, and typically it's an expression of an unmet need, sometimes an underdeveloped skill. But when we think about how behavior communicates, that helps us understand how we impact our environments. And so we really do believe that every single student can thrive in school if they're provided with the right environment and the right support. And so our goals are really to disrupt exclusionary practices where kids are removed either from the classroom or from the school, from their peers. We know that these exclusionary practices harm kids' physical and mental health. It creates the school to prison pipeline and the disproportionality that I spoke of earlier. And the overall goal is obviously to improve belonging for all. We want to improve student mental health. Obviously, we're here for academic achievement, and so that's the end goal. But we also want to make sure that our kids after high school are successful in their post-secondary careers. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the data that you're going to see in a moment. I want to talk about discipline referrals or incidents. So just give you a general understanding of what the data that you're going to be looking at is. So we ask educators to record in Aspen in our student information system when there is a behavior that requires office assistance. So there are lots of things that happen in a classroom on a daily basis that teachers are expected to be able to help work with students around. And then there's a set of behaviors that they're pretty typical across the district that we expect are more administrator managed or administrator supported. And those are the behaviors that we ask educators to record in Aspen in our conduct workflow. And so that's what we're measuring in risk ratio. And again, I'll talk a little bit about that when you see the data. There is a variety of different incidences that teachers can record, from skipping class, which you'll see, to bullying, to insubordination. And these codes align with DESI codes. So they're clinical in nature, but we do it on purpose so that we're not doubly duplicating data, which could then, lead to mistakes. I just want to sort of recognize that some schools are more accurate with data recording than others, and I think that probably happens whenever we ask schools to do a thing. We know that some schools are really religious about documenting discipline referrals, and others we need to attend to and provide technical assistance around, and we've done that. Some of our special education programs, and I've invited Jen to help chime in with this a little bit, are using our Aspen conduct referral system to record behaviors, even though those behaviors might be a manifestation of a student's disability and they might be in a specialized program. So we may see some disproportionality, and that really is, I'm glad that those behaviors are being recorded, because then we can track things and we can help shape what might happen programmatically for the student, but it may skew the data a bit for our general population. You'll see that in a moment. So here's just sort of a snapshot, an overview of some of those incidences that I just talked about. So you're going to see that big number, 3299. I pulled this data on, I think, March 16th. That was the total number of referrals that have been recorded thus far this year. The highest disparity that we see, and you're going to see that in the middle lower part of the slide, is that 2,301 of those incidences were for male-identifying students. 1,033 of those incidences were female. So we are already seeing a pretty big difference in boys versus girls receiving behavior incident referrals. We also have over a third of our incidences coming from Salem High School, which actually isn't just surprising. They're our largest school. They are also one of our schools that records instances to a T. They are very accurate, which I applaud them for. You're also going to see that the most frequently documented incident is around skipping class. And again, we're talking about middle and high school. And disorderly conduct is the second one. Do you notice how disorderly conduct is? It's not a very kid-friendly word. That's a DESI code. The bottom left corner shows a little bit about risk ratio that I'm going to expand out and show you over time what that's looked like. This next slide speaks to date, the amount of suspensions that we have issued this year across the district. So on the left-hand side, you'll see that we've had 17 singular suspensions. That doesn't include days. That's just how many times a kid has been suspended. One student may be represented 3 times in there, but that's 17 counts of suspension. Our out-of-school suspensions are at 85, and we've had 60 emergency removals. And for those who are unfamiliar with that term, that is a principal's their ability to remove a student who is in the way of learning and unsafe for the community in the moment, given due process, given parents and students have rights around understanding what's going on. When kids are emergency removed, they are often suspended, but that requires a hearing, and it's a timing issue. I'm kind of going slowly so people can ingest the information. Just to give you an idea of what kids are suspended for most frequently, physical altercation is at the top, followed by disorderly conduct, and then fighting. Again, these are Department of Ed codes. The bottom will show you some of the subgroup information. So let me just break down what you see in terms of suspension. You can just see by the bar graph that we have a significantly higher suspension counts for Hispanic students than non-Hispanic. That's the right-hand chart. The left-hand chart speaks to our subgroups with kids with active IEPs, multilingual learners, or duly identified. So that gives you some subgroup data as well. And then the middle is suspensions by race and ethnicity. And so you'll notice African American Hispanic students are at about 26 suspensions. African American, 4 suspensions. Caucasian Hispanic, 15. Caucasian, 23. And the other category, which is Asian, Native American, Pacific Islander, is 5. So you can see that our students of color are being suspended at a higher rate than our white students. Yep.
Is it a higher rate, or is it, I'm just a little
A
confused.
higher number, yeah.
Okay.
A higher number. We did not, we don't, I think this is something to dig into because we are not measuring risk ratio with suspensions. We're measuring risk ratio with incidences. So the likelihood, we're not able to predict likelihood with race and ethnicity just yet. Is that what you were asking?
No, ma'am.
I'm just trying to picture, I'm not good at math, so it's like I'm trying
Yeah.
to picture in my mind what our student populations look like and whether or not those bar graphs are representative of our student populations, which would be easier to see by percentages as opposed to numbers.
Yep. Yep. So I think that there's probably subsequent data that we'll need to get for you, and that's one of them. We're better able to tell you that answer when it comes to instances than suspensions right now. Yep.
I would just say I do think the suspensions mirror the incidents as a whole. The reason we looked at incidents for risk ratio that was part of the strategic plan decision is because we knew we were going to have much more data to collect because there's many more incidents than that generally, and so we wanted to see directionally like how many how it broke down by the different subgroups. But I do think, in just quick math, I'm not an expert on this, but it does mirror some of the risk ratio that we see for incidents that Ellen's going to talk about. The suspension percentages are similar to what we're seeing with incidents, which there is a disparity based on race. There's a disparity based on IEP status, and there's a disparity based on high needs, which you'll get into in a second.
Yeah. The other reason that we are looking at incidents for risk ratio is that oftentimes kids begin to get in trouble, quote, and which lead to suspensions. And so we wanted to be able to look at that earlier than waiting until it gets to a suspension.
Yeah. Sorry, just one more thing on that. It is also for K to 2. Suspending, the state law is pretty prescriptive around suspending kids under grade 3. And so you have to get permission from the superintendent or their designee. And so we don't have, as you can imagine, as many suspensions for younger students, but we do have incidents. And so that does help us begin to look at the data, not just for middle schoolers and high schoolers, where we tend to see the majority of the suspensions, because the state law is pretty clear, and our schools have done generally a pretty good job of trying not to suspend students under grade 3 because of the state law is very prohibitive against that. I mean, it doesn't mean that we don't suspend kids in the young grades, but it doesn't happen as frequently, and that's why looking at the incidents does help us see where the patterns, because the patterns begin for kids from the moment they enter. It starts when they're 3 and 4 years old. You start to see certain kids who are getting disciplined more than others, and so the incidents count for every kid, including for 3 and 4 year olds are in there as well.
Yep, for sure. There's something I was going to say with that. Oh, for all suspensions, principals must consider other ways of disciplining prior to suspending. That's just part of the law. That went into effect a couple years ago, and so when our suspension numbers are not very high comparative to other districts. I think if we put this up against other districts of our size and of our demographic, they're still too high for me, but they're pretty low. That's other data that we can probably compare for you. So as a reminder, risk ratio is the measure that we use to predict likelihood of a specific educational outcome. So in this case, whether certain subgroups are being disciplined more than others. And so a risk ratio of 1.0 indicates equal representation. Over 1 is overrepresentation. Under 1 is underrepresentation. Okay, so that it comes out of the medical field, but education's been using risk ratio now for a couple of years. So let me show you some of the raw data and then the trend lines above. So we started tracking risk ratio in 2022 when we launched, right before we launched the strategic plan. And what you can see is that for our students who are considered low income, while it's still the highest at 2.14, so our students who are low income are twice as likely to be disciplined. It's dropped significantly from 3.29 in 2022. Our students with disabilities, it's unfortunately sort of ticked back up to 1.86 currently this year. When I looked at the data this time last year, it also was bumped up a little bit. You know, data ebbs and flows over the year. I anticipate this number will come down a bit by the end of the school year, but it is up a bit from where we were last year. We have seen a steady increase in our multilingual learners and discipline rates. So we were underrepresented. The multilingual learners were underrepresented in the discipline incident referrals from 0.93, and now we're at 1.54. Our students of color has remained fairly stable. Right now we're at 1.42. We started at 1.56, I think. So it's been fairly stable. Again, those numbers, while they're too high for me, are generally, I think, probably better than what you may see if you looked at other districts. So let's talk about what we try and do to prevent discipline referrals, because I think that is important. We anchor our social emotional learning work in CASEL's 10 indicators of school-wide SEL. And I have been in front of the committee before to talk about all of the different things that we are doing to help support kids, both in and out of school. We talk a lot about this year explicit SEL, our youth voice work, which I know I spoke last committee meeting about. I know you've heard about our Strong Start playbooks and our supportive school and classroom climates, our house systems, our assemblies, our town halls, our restorative practices. I don't think you can walk into any one of our schools at this point without seeing circles in action, either with adults or students or both. That is one of the biggest ways that we're able to help kids feel a sense of belonging in our schools and adults. We focus on adult SEL. We have required de-escalation training at the beginning of the school year. We've done a lot of work around SEL and mental health PD, restorative justice PD. Our DLT last year focused squarely on social emotional learning and helped leaders lead this work in their schools. We've talked about alternatives to suspension. So instead of keeping kids at home, thinking about ways that they can engage with us in school in different ways. Having restorative conversations when there's harm that's done. You've heard a lot about our continuum of supports, both in and out of school, with organizations, youth development organizations, mental health organizations. We have looked at data over and over around and thought about how our SEL data really informs our school interventions. And so if you looked at the 10 indicators of school-wide SEL, there is one that we have not necessarily dug into. And I think this might be part of the key to how we can help move this work forward in the next year to two. And that is SEL integrated into academics. So what happens in the classroom, the interaction between curriculum and engagement and student learning. And so that is the one sort of indicator that we haven't sort of thrown our weight behind, but have really squarely done a lot of work across the district and the other 9. So I think we should be proud of that work. And it's given us some ideas about moving forward. When we look at the data, we have student support teams that look at this data pretty consistently. And those student support teams are often school adjustment counselors, City Connects coordinators, an assistant principal or a principal, sometimes a school psychologist, family engagement folks, behavior specialists, BCBAs. Really, they look at it through the student lens. And so what can we do to put interventions in place? First of all, they look at root causes. They think about what's going on for the student. They try and make sure that they're precise about that before they prescribe interventions. Those student support folks might support educators and teachers with trauma-informed practices in the classroom. We think about partnering with families around services and just in general, helping families understand what their child is going through at school. And really, I think the next step in taking a look at the data is being able to identify trends school-wide and helping our principals really disaggregate it based on what is the environmental changes that need to occur beyond the student lens. We have to make sure that we're getting that feedback to educators in a timely way. I think there's more professional development to do with educators around how you integrate SEL into the classroom environment. And then I think we also need to be thinking about setting even more specific school improvement plan goals. So I know we were looking at risk ratio, but I think we can probably drill down into the data even deeper and be looking at what is it really we want to be focused in on. Is it a grade level? Is it a certain subgroup? How are we setting really targeted goals and then supporting educators to meet those goals? I want to invite Jen up just to talk a little bit about the work she's been doing with special education and the special educators to help address the disparity with special ed students.
Thank you. I'm going to talk a little bit of how we support our educators and our staff that work with our high incident students, and those would be our high incident programs and our students that have frequent behavior referrals. So some of the things that we are doing, we break it out into proactive and responsive measures for staff and supporting them. We have targeted support. We provide monthly professional development, focus on behavior management, specifically for high incident students. We do peer facilitated PD, which would include BCBAs, ran by BCBAs, our sub-separate teachers and our teacher leaders around behavior management in the classroom. We also have system-wide access to PD for all staff, both asynchronous and synchronous PD around behavior management. This includes safety care for synchronous, and for asynchronous, we do provide asynchronous modules that are tailored towards the population that our staff are working with. We have about 100% of participation rate from our paraprofessionals on our asynchronous modules, and we do see a high level of participation for our sub-separate teachers. We also do training for around specialized topics, so for the populations that are working with maybe with autism or behavior programs, we also do that as well. We also, for our responsive measures, we do through our specialists and case review. We have direct intervention. We have added behavior specialists to programs with high incidence and high frequency incidents. We also do clinical oversight that utilize clinical case reviews to support students in crisis. That is where an internal team will review high incident behavior and provide recommendations around behavior improvement plans and different ways that we can support students in the programs. We also have staff engagement. These are responsive strategies involving both specialists and the broader staff to ensure a broad support system. So if a student needs some temporary one-on-one help or they are in crisis, we're able to provide that. One thing we did see through the data is a higher level of reporting of what we call disability-related behavior, more so than we have in years past. This is great data to capture, but we are working on, should it be considered an incident or should that be considered a program managed behavior? So we're working on aggregating that data to be more clear of when we're seeing that.
I think we're at the questions mark.
Any questions from members? Member Miranda.
Thanks. So the professional development that was named, I think it was named by you, Jen. Just wondering, who is that? Who runs that?
So we have several. We have vertical alignment, professional development that's run by teacher leaders. We also have a monthly high incident behavior management PD for special ed teachers, for paraprofessionals that work in programs. So the programs that we see high levels of behaviors, they do attend this PD that is run by BCBA and behavior specialists.
Okay, thank you. I'm curious, and I think this may be more for Ellen, but I'm curious about the trends, school-wide trends when it comes to certain educators. I know that we've talked about collecting some of that data at different points, so I'm a little bit confused around, like, do we have that data, and are we able to kind of assess that, or do we not have that data?
We do. We have incident data. We do have incident data, school by school, demographic by demographic, classroom by classroom, classroom by classroom, classroom by classroom. I'm looking at Mark because he's my partner in the data world. So yes, I think what is currently an opportunity is for principals, assistant principals, to be looking at that data more consistently and more towards an eye of coaching and feedback.
Okay. So is that data are we like acknowledging it, but it's not really being touched in terms of like creating a solution? It sounds like not much is being done with the data.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Steve. Yeah.
I mean, I'll say we do look at that data for, school by school. We can share that. We could share that with the school committee, for instance, by school. I'd be more cautious about sharing by educator. But in terms of by school, we do use it in conversation with schools as they set goals, because risk ratio was a goal they had to set for their school improvement plans. So we did, when Kate and I meet with each of the schools at the beginning of the year and then at the mid-year point, we do look at risk ratios, and we have conversations with schools about trends that they've seen. Like, for instance, Bates is always, we're always working to support Bates with the therapeutic program, because there's historically been more suspensions and incidents coming out of that program. And so what we want to see with them, for instance, is setting goals around just improving the numbers, so we have less incidents of kids that are in the TIDES program, for instance. So we do sit with schools and help set goals. In terms of specific educators, I do know that principals do have conversations with educators where there are high numbers of incidents. It's either a sign that like more support is necessary, or it's always a sign that more support is necessary when you see patterns, and it's also a sign. It could be a sign that there are some real concerns about classroom management, about relationships with kids. And so that data, I know in my conversations and Kate's conversations, we do pull the data to see like the number of incidents when we have a concern, or when a concern is raised about a particular educator in a school. So it is regularly used, and we have a dashboard that allows principals to see that data and in real time, because it updates every night, so you can see, again, there have been situations where we've seen an educator have an incident every day, for a span of a week. Well, that's data that should drive action on our part. So I think we could certainly get you the data by school. I wouldn't share it for educator, but I know that we do use that data, and principals do, and if they're not, they should be, in order to have conversations with staff.
I appreciate that. I'm less interested in seeing the data myself, and more interested, like that answer
Absolutely.
was
Yep.
exactly what I was what I was looking for there, just to make sure that
Sure.
some things are being done to address all of this. And then also just wanted to highlight for the public, for people who are here, for other members of the committee, that adultification is real. And so adultification, I'll just give you like a short definition: perceiving a child as older and more mature, and anger bias, perceiving anger where it does not exist. The phenomena is disproportionately imposed on Black children often, compared to white children, and so those are some of the things that I know that we're all thinking about, and I know these conversations are difficult conversations to have, and I also know that most people don't become teachers because they want to discipline kids, or to unfairly discipline kids, or any of that. So just highlighting, appreciate that we're having this conversation. I know it's a start. I know myself, I'm very interested in digging into this some more as time goes on, and appreciate everybody's efforts to correct some of the disproportionality.
Other committee members with questions? Nope, we're good. Member Cornell?
I just have a process thing to propose to the committee, just because I really appreciate the fact that you have all this data exists. It makes me really happy with the district that we can ask for it and it appears. But it is a lot to process in a short period of time. So I was just sort of looking at our schedule, and when we voted on how we would lay out the calendar for the year, we did vote that we could amend that at any time. And so sort of looking at the calendar the way that we have it, I would propose, our next meeting on the 6th is pretty much devoted to the budget, but the meeting after that, I would propose moving a discussion about the college application process to May 11th, because May 11th, we actually don't have a specific agenda item that day, and then have a follow-up conversation on the 27th of April so in the meantime, we can send some of our questions their way, and maybe have just, it's a late night, but like tonight, but we'd have a lot more time to kind of process and get some follow-up questions answered if we scheduled that for the 27th.
Any further comments or questions? Yep, Member Miranda.
To your knowledge, have we ever had an audit of some type where somebody from outside the district comes in and kind of does an assessment around like discipline and racial disparities?
We did have an audit that I will say I don't think was a very strong audit, that we brought in to look at our policies and practices, and they did look at our data, but I don't think it was. I was disappointed with the audit. Some of you may remember we had an equity audit that was done. I thought you were on the committee for that, but it was maybe early on. That Laura had worked with an organization. I think we were all disappointed by the audit. And so while they did look at that, and there were the predictable, there's disparity. It wasn't to the depth that we wanted. So I would say while we did do one, I wouldn't say it was a very good one. So that is something that could be looked at, that the committee could ask for in the future, for sure.
What do you mean by not a very good one? Like not.
It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't in depth. It wasn't. The quality was poor.
Findings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the
I'm not
findings
sure they even,
were just very
I didn't
generic.
even weigh in on it.
What's that?
I don't think I
Yeah,
was
it was
asked to weigh in
not.
on it.
It was very disappointing in the lack of depth that it provided us. So.
Thank you.
Great. All right. Thank you very much. Well, Cindy. Go ahead.
It was really just a really quick concern, I think, that I have in general. especially considering the times that we are currently living in. I think a very important concern should be brought up considering immigrant students as well, and how we can better support them, considering a lot of immigrants have been displaced from their home countries, or, you know, they've come here, maybe their country is in a time of war, or especially also considering the situation with the politics in the United States right now. As an immigrant myself, I do feel very afraid sometimes, and I know I'm not alone. There's hundreds of students in the Salem School District that are immigrants. They come maybe not from the same situation as myself, who might need even more support that I needed. And I think that that might even show in your data as well when you see like dual identifying students or like ESL students. Those might be immigrants as well who need that additional support, maybe that additional conversation. And I really do think that in these times, they need to be a very special concern for the educators and for the staff that works to support them.
Cool. Yes.
Yeah, I just want to, you're spot on. That's all I can say. I mean, that is true. I mean, you're a real life example of it, but I think what you're saying is absolutely accurate. And I think that's part of the context that we have to think about. You know, we don't want to be perpetuating a school to prison pipeline, and that for kids who are immigrants is especially even more acute now. And so, and those are the conversations we're having. You know, I'm very pleased that the teachers union is interested in having conversations with us right now about how to support our immigrant students, because I think this is, again, one of the reasons I loved working in Salem is like there is a real belief and commitment to making sure that we protect our kids. And part of it is, right, is the discipline, how we impose discipline in our schools every day. And again, while I think we, as Ellen said, I think there's a lot of real positive in the work we do. You can see in these numbers that there is disproportionality that needs to continue to be looked at, and we have, this is part of dismantling the history of how schools are designed, right, that support some kids and not all kids around everything from academics to discipline, and thankfully we have a school system that's trying to continue to get better on that. But that perspective is real, right? And like that's what we need to hear on a school committee is from a student who says like, this actually does have an impact on us as young people. So thank you for raising that.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you, Ellen and Jen. Just quickly on the MSBA update, you have in your folder or in your packet, the school building committee met Thursday, March 19th, which was last week, reviewed the milestone schedule, discussion about Mass Save funding. We had a quick update from the Finance Working Committee, working group, and then discussion about the debt exclusion vote. And then did want to highlight that this weekend on March 29th, there's an opportunity for the community to see Salem High School. It's an open house to learn about the current conditions of Salem High School. I think the mayor will be doing a presentation. There'll be tours with students, with staff, and then obviously May 5th is the local debt exclusion vote. And the next meeting is on April 16th of the building committee. And I know there's a resolution later on in this meeting that I'll let the mayor discuss and members start. So with that, what is left on the agenda?
Can I just to add on to that.
Sure.
So the Sunday of open house will be a presentation, the roadshow presentation. Rick Jones from the building committee, the co-chair, myself will be leading that from 12 to 1 in the library, and then from 1 to 4 there'll be tours, opportunities for people to come and see the building for themselves, talk with the project team and the designers, see some boards and models of the school, and get their questions answered. I want to thank the League of Women Voters for co-hosting the presentation at noon, and I think we're also going to have some light catering from the culinary students in the CTE program at Salem High, so it should be a fun opportunity. I hope folks do come out for it. Any finance report?
I have just a brief report. Since we last met, We have met with the Finance Subcommittee to brief them on the ongoing development of the FY27 budget proposal. We last week had a third of 3 meetings with principals and department heads to review the budget proposal as we were finalizing it. And we spent time talking about how to create an equitable funding formula for non-personnel expenses at the elementary level. We talked about how to plan for our substitute costs and our substitute coverage in FY27. So we're really coming down to the final details of the FY27 budget. This week, we anticipate finalizing the Q&A of the questions that have been asked and the responses that were given at public forums and posting those. Then next week, we will finalize the budget book, and when we see you again on April 6th, we will present the preliminary budget proposal. I just want to remind the public that on April 13th, we do have a budget hearing at which we hope families and community members will come out to share their feedback on that initial budget proposal. So that will be here in the chambers. And that is my report. Thank you.
All right. Subcommittee reports. Member Hoffman.
I have an ad hoc update. We had our first meeting last Thursday, and it was a good meeting. We met everyone and talked about our what our next steps are. We had we discussed the process and timeline, discussion of positions and posting for the superintendent's job, and I'm bringing forward the posting for you all to I guess approve. The only thing you might want to discuss would be the salary. We put down a sliding scale based on what Dr. Zarek is making now, plus the 3% he would make with next year, so it would be between $230 and $255. But we didn't want to put that on without the full body's consent. I don't know what the word is. So.
Great. Any questions? That's on the agenda for a motion later. But is the subcommittee had any discussion around the screening committee?
So we are having a meeting on Wednesday for the setting up of the screening committee and how we're going to go about working that.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, not me.
Member Miranda? Yeah.
I just wanted to add, if it's okay, Member Hoffman, that meeting is Wednesday, 3:25 at 5 p.m. On Zoom for anybody who's curious and wants to attend.
Any other subcommittee reports? Yep, Member Stott.
I'm not sure how this works here because the policy committee did meet last week or the week before. We went over actions taken last year and reviewed additional policies this year. We do have motions in the motions and resolutions section. It's a little complicated. I can get into it during that part, or I'll probably do that because it's a little in the weeds.
We'll save it for that. No other reports? Okay. Section 9 of the agenda, motions and resolutions. We've completed one. Item 2 is the superintendent's evaluation.
The superintendent's evaluation actually does not require a motion because he's leaving. So I am going to...
No. We're going to do...
I am going to instead ask that we enter my summary into the public record, and Representative Cruz isn't here, so I can say I'm going to try to be shorter than Representative Cruz when he does this. So just for the public, I'll just outline sort of the process. We have the sort of state-mandated process from how to evaluate the superintendent. We look at his learning goals or his goals for the year, and we kind of assess his performance over the past year based on what he has proposed and a set bunch of guidelines from the state. So just to reiterate for the committee and the public, I'm just going to do this quickly. In terms of student learning goals, the superintendent wanted to make strong progress toward early literacy strategies in K-8, which he did oversee, including on-the-ground observation of teaching and learning and guided collaboration among elementary school leaders, and developing specific materials for dual language programs. He had his professional growth goal, which is to, as we've all been we talk about all the time, continuing to work on attracting, growing, and developing excellent and committed educators. And so we have the Registered Teacher Apprenticeship Program, which is a job-embedded pathway to an initial license in Massachusetts, through which we can help to diversify our teaching staff. And while Dr. Zweig has set really high strategic goals that the district continues to work toward, even though it's very difficult, we've made substantial progress in terms of hiring. So in 2020 and 2021 school year, 10.8% of our overall staff were people of color, and today 22.7% of our staff are people of color. And in the 2020 and 2021 school year, 5.7% of our teachers were people of color, and today that number is 17.1. But I know that we are still working on that goal. I think that's something that, as Dr. Drake says, the work is never done. I know he would have liked to have achieved that, but we're going to keep working on that under interim superintendent Carboni and going forward. And then that last goal is a district goal, which was to fully implement and report on the district's progress towards strategic priorities, initiatives, and goals. And so, as Dr. Zweig noted in his performance summary, he spent a lot of time in the last year engaging the community around the strategic plan, around the high school build, and around reconfigurations. So he has taken the show on the road everywhere, as I think we all know. PTOs, school faculty, neighborhood groups, the city council, the Latino Leadership Coalition, Salem State, church groups, the Salem Partnership, the Senior Center, you name it. He is everywhere. And just hosting forums all over the place. That's the sort of very short version of Dr. Zweig's work over the past year. And members of the committee recognized that all of that work has led to a lot of progress in the district. So just a brief commentary after kind of synthesizing everybody's evaluations. I will say, as I said, I've been a parent in the district for 19 years, and I personally have never felt more hopeful about Salem Public Schools or more confident in the strength of the education that our students are receiving, particularly our traditionally disenfranchised families and students. So through Dr. Zweig's leadership, Salem has helped to create a culture of high expectations, developed a leadership pathways for committed educators at every level, improved communication both within the district and with the broader community, engaged our Spanish-speaking and immigrant families through regular group and one-on-one meetings, improved teacher, principal, and student retention, improved learning outcomes district-wide, elevated students' voices and perspectives, and created a district culture rooted in open communication and respect for all. And of course, I know what Dr. Zweig would say is that he does not do any of that by himself, but it does take a strong leader in order to facilitate all of that. And this is the part that I always like that Representative Cruz does, which he just takes some quotes out from people's evaluations so that Steve can squirm, having to listen to all of the nice things about him even more. So these are just some of the things our colleagues had to say in their evaluations. He is approachable and thoughtful with care and understanding. He goes above and beyond expectations with a lens toward making sure a strong inclusion of team players are at the table. The next one is the superintendent has demonstrated strong leadership during a complex and challenging year for Salem Public Schools, during a particularly challenging political climate that created fear and uncertainty for many families. The superintendent led with courage, integrity, and immense compassion. My experience working with the superintendent has been nothing short of exceptional. His ability to navigate ever-changing challenges while remaining grounded in clear values and having an ability to adjust based on constructive feedback is truly remarkable. He is one of the most kind, dedicated leaders I have encountered. Next, Superintendent Zreich has been an exemplary leader for our district and is leaving Salem Public Schools in a position of incredible strength and success. His commitment to students and our community has left a lasting positive impression on Salem. We are grateful for his leadership and his passion for public education. Dr. Zreich's ability to be a visionary in education with a balanced, organized approach has left a mark on Salem Public Schools and the community. Last one, by emphasizing collaboration, professional learning, and shared accountability, Dr. Zreich creates the conditions that support continuous improvement among educators and school leaders. His focus on strategic planning and expanding early learning opportunities demonstrates a commitment to strengthening instructional practice and ensuring equitable opportunities for all students in Salem Public Schools. So based on school committee evaluations, I would like to enter into the record that Superintendent Zreich has achieved an overall rating of exemplary for his performance in all three categories: instructional leadership, management and operations, professional culture, family and community engagement. There are a few proficients in there, but we can't hold you accountable for any of that, so we're gonna just gonna lean toward the positive and go with exceptional. For folks watching at home, this is a really rare honor, which Dr. Zreich has now achieved twice in a row, earning an exceptional review from the school committee. So again, I just want to say thank you for your partnership. And again, I will miss our regular phone calls and texts, but my calendar is really going to open up. So thank you.
Exemplary. So we'll extend the contract.
Thank you.
There is no vote on that. It's just entered to the record. So
Can I just say one thing?
no. Okay, go ahead.
No, I just, the last thing I just want to say is I do want to thank all the people that are sitting over there and the team that's on my left. None of this is accomplished by, I thanked teachers earlier and the rest of the district, but I do, one thing I will say is this district's in excellent hands with Deputy Superintendent Carboni, Assistant Superintendent Pauly, and the executive leadership team who will steer this district forward. I have no doubt this is an exceptional group of people who are, who really do share the values that you see on the wall. And I have, I leave with, I've never left a district with more confidence that in who's leading moving forward. Obviously, we have excellent principals, great teachers, but the leadership team deserves a lot of credit. And a lot of what's in my evaluation, I didn't do that work. I really didn't do the work. I mean, it's people. I'm just telling you. I mean, I want to be clear. Like, I don't do early literacy in classrooms, and there's people that have this. All this work as part of their, not to mention the teachers who actually deliver instruction to kids every day. So I just want to be clear about that. But there isn't a stronger leadership team in all of the Commonwealth than this group of people here. On top of the student, staff, and families that I spoke about earlier. So just to end it with that, I don't deserve an exemplary, but I'm not going to quibble with you. I'll take it onto my next role. I don't know that I can you tell my new boss that I'm exemplary?
No,
because
we're not gonna do that.
But I appreciate it. I'm humbled by it, but I know there's a lot of unfinished work to do, and this team's positioned to take the district to the next level. So thank you.
Next item is resolution in support of the high school building project and the debt exclusion ballot question on May 5th. Member Stott, do you want to?
Should I read it? Okay.
I don't know if you have to read it. It's posted in the meeting materials, but if you would like to.
Would you like me to?
Yeah,
okay. If I knew that, I would have made it shorter.
I'm not going to read it, so lose my voice. So you do it.
This is a resolution in support of the Salem High School building project and the May 5th, 2026 debt exclusion ballot question. Whereas Salem Public Schools is a diverse and welcoming community that promotes the academic, social, emotional, and physical development of each student
through the equitable delivery of challenging, relevant, and joyful learning experiences. We empower all students to chart a personalized path to success that includes a commitment to the common good. And whereas Salem Public Schools is a top-performing gateway city school district in Massachusetts with academic achievement and attendance rates exceeding pre-pandemic levels and a growing enrollment, and whereas Salem Public Schools has established new programs for career education, community-wide pre-K, and middle school learning that have become models across Massachusetts and has made strong progress in educator diversity and retention, as well as high school graduation rates, and whereas Salem High School is committed to equipping students with transferable skills by providing a student-centered education grounded in a culture of high expectations, equity, and access for all. And whereas Salem High School was constructed in 1976 and due to aging infrastructure and outdated systems, no longer meets many current building and safety codes or educational standards. And whereas major systems within the building, including HVAC, electrical, building envelope, and life safety systems, are failing or no longer functioning as intended, and the building's infrastructure is unable to adequately support modern learning environments. And whereas classrooms and learning spaces in the current facility are undersized by today's state standards and do not adequately support the needs of contemporary instruction, including the growing career and technical education programs that prepare students for high-demand careers. And whereas the Salem High School Building Committee, working in partnership with the Massachusetts School Building Authority, conducted an extensive review of options, including addition and renovation, full renovation, code-only renovation, and new construction, ultimately determining that a new high school facility is the most effective long-term solution for the city and its students. And whereas the proposed project will create a safe, equitable, inclusive, and modern learning environment that prepares Salem students for college, careers, and lifelong success while supporting innovative teaching and learning aligned with Salem Public Schools District's master plan. And whereas the new facility will include modern academic spaces, improved career and technical education facilities, and large public spaces designed to serve as a community resource for meetings, athletics, performing arts, and civic activities. And whereas the project incorporates sustainable design and energy-efficient systems that will reduce emissions, lower operating costs, and help Salem meet its community climate goals. And whereas the total project cost is estimated not to exceed $447 million, including construction, design, technology, furniture, and contingencies. And whereas the Massachusetts School Building Authority is expected to provide approximately $208 million in grant funding towards the project, representing a significant investment from the Commonwealth and reducing the taxpayer share. And whereas without approval of the proposed project, Salem will need to undertake a phased code renovation of the existing building that could cost taxpayers significantly more over time while delivering fewer educational and community benefits. And whereas the City of Salem will hold a special election on May 5th, 2026, at which voters will consider a debt exclusion ballot question, allowing the city to finance the construction of the new Salem High School through a 30-year bond as permitted under Massachusetts law. And now, therefore, it be resolved that the Salem School Committee expresses their strong support for their Salem High School building project and the opportunity it provides to invest in Salem students, educators, and community. And be it further resolved that the Salem School Committee support the passage of the debt exclusion ballot question to appear before voters at the May 5th, 2026 special election. And be it further resolved that the Salem School Committee encourage Salem residents to participate in the democratic process by voting in the May 5th special election and hopefully supporting the investment of a new Salem High School for current and future generations of Salem students. Thank you. If I may add to that.
Make a motion.
A motion to pass the resolution.
Yep.
Second.
Motion made by Member Stott, seconded by Member Miranda. Under discussion.
Thank you.
Yep. Member Stott.
Thank you. I wanted to draft this and submit this to committee for their review and consideration, knowing that this project has been a long time coming, and there are a lot of details and information behind it that can be confusing. And I don't believe, I know the conversation has been in front of this body multiple times. There have been votes in the past prior to me joining this body. For example, the possible moving of the junior high onto the site, different programmatic aspects at the high school, but I don't think in general the show of support as a unified body has been in front of us before. So I wanted to provide an avenue for that, to show that even though the debt exclusion and the ballot question was something that was in front of City Council, to show our support, hopefully, for the passage of this, for the support of the new school. And that it is, a special election coming up on May 5th, so another avenue as well to get information out via this resolution. I'd like to thank the high school building committee and everybody that has been involved with this process. There is a lot of work and effort that has gone into this over the years. I know myself, on council, I was on the high school building committee when it was first formed. I was able to nominate myself, actually. I'm grateful that I did. But I feel being involved in it so much, I am able to really understand the details and the weeds of it. So to have another way to get that information out to the community, and know that questions can be answered. You can send them over. This is the open house was already mentioned. That's going to be on Sunday as well, another opportunity. But I'm just trying to take every possible avenue to get information out.
Member Miranda.
Yes, I just wanted to add that super appreciate you, Member Stott, and also Member Cornell for doing so much of that interaction with people in different places around this subject and sharing the little details that I know for myself, like I do not have. So just wanted to give my thanks and appreciation because I know it takes a lot of time. Thank you.
All right. No further comment or discussion on the motion. All in favor? Any opposed? Matter carries unanimous. School choice recommendation for the 2026-2027 school year.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right. Motion made by Member Cornell, seconded by Member Miranda. Under discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor of approval of the policy as presented by the superintendent? Any opposed? None. The matter carries unanimous. Our next item is a motion to reconsider the immediate adoption of policies AA, AC, ACR, ACA, ACE, and ADC, and hold the implementation of the policies until completion with a full policy manual review.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Member Stott, seconded by Member Cornell. Under discussion. Member Miranda.
I just wanted to ask about one of the policies here. Let me make sure to reference it correctly. It's listed under Section A, number 7, the people in their school district. This one says policy subcommittee does not recommend adoption of that policy. And I've seen this policy before in different school districts, and I thought it was a beautiful one. So just wondering if we could get some context behind the policy subcommittee's choice there.
Yep. Member Stott.
So that's actually the second motion. This is extremely confusing right now. So the first motion that we have on the table is to reconsider the adoption of the policies that was taken up last year for policies AA, AC, ACR, ACA, ACE, and ACD, and hold the implementation of those policies until we do the full policy manual review, which will be the next motion. Which will be that one, which will have those policy items in there. But this first one, and for the public to understand this complicated process right now, MASC was brought on to help us review our policies and get them in line with state policy or MASC recommended state policies and have consistency there, which will provide us support when changes at state law happen and guidance there. Last year, part of that section. Their policies are in section. And last year, part of one section was reviewed. The policies were passed by school committee. There were 3 readings, but there was nothing to replace with those policies or update. So actually what MASC recommends is that we take back that approval, do the section entirely at once, but with the note that it's on hold until we review the entire MASC policy book, I'll call it. It has sections A through K. So we're reviewing and looking at the policies that we do have, matching them up with the MASC policies and having those in line. And then we can essentially go back and do a deeper dive on each of those policies. But the specific question that you have would be related to the second motion.
No, that's right.
You might be
Member
able to
Cornell?
answer
I just want to add one thing to that, which is that if a policy is being reviewed that is clearly something that we want to implement immediately, and we don't want to wait for the wholesale switch over into the MSBA website, which is going to host all these policies
MASC.
What did I say?
MSBA.
That's all I talk about is MSBA. You know what I mean? Then we can do that and just implement it into our own, that terrible Word document that we have. So it doesn't prohibit us from updating policies that we think are important, or policies that, the interim superintendent tells us we have to change prior to the whole thing getting changed.
Mm-hmm.
Member Stott.
And if I may add to that, this is just so complicated. So we have our current policy book that essentially is not changing right now until we review the entire policies of MASC all at once, and or in finality, then we'll switch over from that fabulous Word document that we have with the numbers to the MASC policies. But essentially, we're just kind of putting them all like in a holding pattern right now, and then we'll do one final review and adoption of everything at once, and like a big move over, because there's really logistically no way to handle those two. But a good example of one that I think there was one that like has to be updated about administration of medications, or there might be other ones. And if we do, we're going to go into like our normal numbering policy updating as needed. So again, this motion is to undo what you did last year and then put it kind of in the bucket with the second motion.
Any further discussion on the first motion from the policy subcommittee? All right. Voting on the motion as recommended and moved. All in favor? Any opposed? None opposed. The matter carries unanimously. Item 6 is a motion to approve the recommendation of the policy subcommittee for Section A of the policy manual and hold implementation of the policies until the completion of the full policy manual review for first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Member Miranda, seconded by Member Cornell. Under discussion. Member Stott.
Thank you. And a lot of that conversation may have been from last year with the ones that were recommended not to approve. Again, this was kind of some cleanup there. So I don't know if Member Cornell would have anything to add, but that is also too something that we can bring back up when we do the whole section as a whole at the end of this. Point well taken. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank Shirley for her help in unraveling all of this. It's quite complicated.
Yep, Member Cornell.
And to your point, I was going to call you Mayor Miranda. Member Miranda, the MASC recommends that when we have questions about particular policies that they have, that we take that to council. And they said their recommendation is if your legal counsel has a different opinion, go with them. So that's their general advice, is go with your legal counsel. But we can follow up and ask for more clarity, because that conversation was long and difficult, so I don't entirely remember that one specifically. But Shirley does have the recommendation from MASC versus the notes from council, so we can provide those to you.
Any further discussion or questions? On the motion to approve the recommendation, all in favor? Any opposed? None opposed. The matter carries unanimously. Item 7 under motions and resolutions, superintendent position profile.
Motion to approve the profile.
Motion made by Member Cornell, seconded by Member Hoffman. Under discussion. Yep, Member Miranda.
I guess I just want to ask the members, in terms of the salary range, does this seem appropriate for you? I know that Member Hoffman kind of went through this in their subcommittee report, but I think one of the things that I wrote down in my notes is that I wanted to make sure this body and that the public knew that the Collins Center gave us this range as a recommendation. So I don't know if that's helpful for this body, but just wanted to make sure to state it.
Discussion from members. I'll offer as a point of discussion. I think on the compensation, I think is framing it as anticipated. Starting salary is probably the right approach, and I don't have a problem, I think, understanding what the approximate salary range for Gateway City, urban schools district superintendents are right now, and to be competitive, that seems appropriate. The profile calls out the strategic plan that is ending, but I think it's still worth including that because it's the framework that the new superintendent's going to be working from. But overall, I just want to thank the members of the ad hoc committee for the work that went into this and really appreciate the thoughtfulness in developing the profile. If there's any other questions or discussion on it. All right, seeing none. On the motion to approve the position profile, all in favor? Any opposed? None opposed. The matter carries unanimously. Newsletter items. I keep forgetting this new thing. Okay. Member Cornell.
Sorry, I have. I'll just review some of the ones that I have them all together from the last meeting and today. So I'll put the newsletter together for the 1st of April. Nope. Yes. March, April. 1st of April. So improvements to graduation and dropout rates, which we talked about last time, a follow-up update on process timeline, interim superintendent and deputy superintendent. I'll note the commendation for the basketball team, Dr. Zreich's final meeting and evaluation. I'll note that the upcoming meetings are initial budget presentation, and then I'll also note the budget hearing. I'll also note the change in the agenda topic calendar so that we can have a follow-up on discipline. Important votes. I'm not putting every vote in the newsletter, so I'm just putting ones that I think are most interesting what folks are probably most concerned about is New Liberty and Salem Prep moving, the resolution to support the high school building, and the job position profile. If anybody has any additions to that.
Any announcement? Oh, Member Miranda.
Did you state the timeline as well? Sorry if I missed that. You did.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Next item, any announcements? Seeing none.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion made by Member Cornell, seconded by Member Miranda. Under discussion, seeing none, we are adjourned.